Hello guys, so now we will go to the coding of another part of our user interface. We will come back to our Xcode. So we have configured our text fields. So we now need to configure our login button, register button, and this or part. Okay, so let's do it. We will come back to our login VC. I'll declare a new function which will be handling configuring this button. So I'll write here func configure underscore login btn, open and close round brackets and open curly brackets. So that one will configure buttons, login buttons appearance. Okay, so in order to access login button inside of this function, we need to create an IB outlet connection. Go back to main storyboard, select your button, select that one, assistant editor. So if you see your interface, you can select your manual and automatic. So you can select your login button on the left panel or on the scene. Hold Ctrl left mouse click, drag and release it here. It will be login btn or login button. Let me show you something. Let's write login btn. But I think here login button will be better. So I'll change it login, let's say button. So for example, something like this. You remember this object, right? So it was our button. Okay, so here must be double T. I'll run it and our app will crash now. Here we go. So it's crashed. So how to identify the error? So here we just stretch this and we'll try to read the log. So we'll skip this part, we'll go to the top, and here it tells you this class is not key value for the login btn. Okay, if you remember, first we wrote login btn, then we changed it in the code to login button. Okay, in this case there is always a collision. What we have declared in main storyboard, which is not equal to what we have wrote in the code. Even here you see that this round circle is not filled. So what we have done is we have placed in main storyboard, we go to connection inspector. We have declared login btn while in the code is written login button, and the main storyboard cannot get connected these value of connection of the button to the statement in the code because it's not declared in the main storyboard. So we'll select this button, we will delete this connection and we will recreate it. We call again assistant editor, the login button. Here let's go to automatic login VC, select the login button, hold Ctrl left mouse click, drag it to the login button IB outlet line and release it. Now it is connected. You can run your app and there will be no crash. Okay, so I will go now to our configure button function. Here what we want to do is with this button we want the corners only to be rounded like in the original app. If we pay attention, it is equally rounded like the border frame. Okay, this is only what we want to do. So here we'll write let or just login button dot layer dot corner radius equals 5 because it's 5 here, so we'll keep the same radius. Then we need to mask it. So we write login button dot layer dot mask to bounds equals true. So this is the only thing we want to do with this button. Okay. And if you pay attention here, let's go to the app. You see this is white, but I think would be great to disable this button until before we type something here. So we can write here one more line, login button is enabled equals false. So means is not enabled. Okay, so then we will call this function to be executed once the layout is done. So we write here configure login button. Okay, we can run our app now, and as you see, the corners are rounded excellent, and this button is disabled. You can't press this button. If you, for example, comment this line, means this won't be compiled or recognized by the Xcode. It will just skip the comments. The button won't be disabled. Okay, so now we go to another part, which is configure or label part. Okay, so here I'll write a new function which is func configure or label, open and close round brackets, open curly brackets. So this function will configure appearance of or label and its views storing the lines, storing two centered lines. Okay, so let's do it now. So first of all, we need to create a left line here, then a right line, and there is a width will be, and there will be a color. Okay, let's do it. So first, as we have done here, we'll declare a width. Let width be equals to CG float of value 2. Then let color to be equals to UI color dot. If, as you can see here, that color, I think it looks little darker than this one. This is what I think. Maybe it's equal, I don't know. So I'll write here, instead of UI group table with black background color, I'll write here light gray color, CG color. Okay, so now what we will do is we will create left line object or layer. So we write here I'll call it let left line, means create a constant called left line, which will be of type CA layer, open and close round brackets. So then now let's declare a width of this. For example, let left line dot border width equals to width. Then let's declare a color. Let's assign a color. I would say left line dot, you can write border color equals to color. Create left line object or layer by assigning width and color objects. I would say objects, or you can say values or constants, whatever you prefer. Okay, now we need to declare a frame of this color. We need to declare the size of the frame of this color. So here we'll write left line dot frame equals to CG rect, open the round bracket, XY within height. X will be 0. As you remember, we want this line to be in the center of this view. So means we need to create a reference to this view, to that view as well. Okay, we'll come back to our main storyboard. We'll select the left view, we'll click the assistant editor, or you can do it from here, so you won't select by mistake the constraints. Left view, hold Ctrl left mouse, click drag it to under UI objects. You can write here left view, and the same for the right view. Oh, I think the right idea will be to call it right line view. So we will rename it left line view. So once you renamed it, so it will lose its connection. You can select here plus and drag it to this left line. Then don't forget to select left line, go to connections inspector and delete the first connection which we have created. Again, select the left line view, go to the connection inspector and delete the previous one. Okay, so I'll come back to our login VC. So now we have the connection with the left line and right line, and we can access these two objects from our main storyboard. So we want the vertical position of this to be in the middle of the left line view. I'll come down, I'll select here and write left line view dot frame dot height divided by 2. This is the center, and minus width. And the width of this, the width of this line will be the same like the left line view. So width we write left line view dot frame dot width, and the height is gonna be 2 pixels, which is that one. Width. Okay. So this is what we have done, and we need to do the same thing for the right view. So you can copy it and paste and rename these, but just for the practice I would like you to type it. I'll write let right line of type CA layer, open and close round brackets. We created a constant with the name right line, which is of type CA layer. So then we write right line dot border width will be equals to width. Then we continue right line dot border color equals to color. Then we declare a frame. Right line dot frame equals to CG rect, which is rectangle, XY width and height. X we want it to start from here, and Y vertical want it to be in the middle. So we write right line view dot frame dot height divided by 2. So we got the center, and we need to move it up according to the width. So it won't be moved up, it will be right in the center. Minus width. And here we want the width of this to be exactly the same as the right line view. We write here right line view dot frame dot width. And the height of this line, we write width. Okay, so here we are creating right line object, which is layered at the same time, by assigning width and color values declared above. For shorter way, let's say, so we won't repeat the same code. Why programming is good, so you don't need here to put 2, here to put 2. So you can simply change here, let's say put 10 here, and it will have an effect everywhere. Okay, so now we need to assign these views. So what I will do is, so once we've created these layers, I will assign lines or layer objects to the user interface objects, which are views. So we write here left line view dot layer dot add sublayer left line. Then the same for the right one. Right line view dot layer dot add sublayer right line. Okay, let's now, we have, for example, finished declaring this function. We need now to call this function in this method. So here we write configure or label. So we can run it now. And the one thing before we start, we need to the background colors to make them, we need background colors to make white so we can see the difference. I'll make them white, and let's run now. Excellent. So we see now we are having two lines. So in our case, it's little darker than are these two lines. You can keep it if you want, or if you want, you could change these two lines to be of color group table view background color. Let's just try it at least. So this is configure or label. Here we'll change to group table view background color and we'll convert it to CG color. Okay. And or you can keep it in this way, which I like it more. So let me write a comment for you. The only reason we declare these two values just to make it a shortcut. As you see, we've changed the color here and it had an effect for the both views. So I'll here just write shortcuts, just shortcuts, that's it. Okay, so we have done with this. Now we will move to our register button. So I'll create a new function here. I'll write func configure register button, open and close round brackets, opening curly brackets. So this one will configure appearance of register button. So as you remember, we need to have an access to the register button. So I'll click assistant editor here if you have shown, if you see that this is in this way, you need to go to selected panel. So select your register button, hold Ctrl left mouse click, drag, and release it somewhere here. And let's call it register button. Of type outlet connect. Okay, so I'll go down to login VC and we'll configure this button. Okay, so here first of all we want to create a border and we want this border to be rounded. So we will create a gain. So in this scenario we won't create shortcuts, we'll just directly declare a border. Let border equals to C, a layer open and close round bracket, open curly bracket, oops, no need to open curly bracket here. So we'll write border color equals to, it must be equal to Facebook brand color. So border color, meantime we'll write just black.cg color. Don't forget here to put UI color. Then we write border width equals to 2. Then we write border CG border frame equals to CG rect, open round bracket, select XY width and height because we want to declare the horizontal, vertical positions and width and height. Okay, so we want to start it same like with the previous examples from 0, 0. Top left corner width will be the width of the button. So we can now access register button dot frame dot width, and the height will be the same height like a button is having, register button dot frame dot height. Okay, so this is the one. So now we need here what we have done. We have created border constant, or we created constant named border of type layer, which acts as a border frame. Okay, so now we need to assign created border to the object, which is a button. Okay, we're right now register button dot layer dot add sublayer border, and we need also we want to make it rounded. So here we write rounded corners. As you remember, register button dot layer dot rounded corner radius equals 5, as we used before for all other objects, because we want it to be round with the same radius. And very necessary rule, after corner radius, register button.layer.masks to bounds equals true. Okay, so once we've declared this function, we need to execute it in the same way like we did before. Configure underscore register button. Here we are calling configure functions to be executed as they are already declared. Okay, so we will now run the app, and we will see a frame but of type of black color. Excellent, everything is excellent, but how to put the exactly same, because this is some custom color. Okay, let's do it. Let's come back to my storyboard. This is a Facebook. I'll use this tool, digital color meter. So I'll point it here. So as you can see, these values, red, green, and blue. Red it's 68, green it's 105, and 176 blue. So red is 68, green is 105, and blue is 176. Okay, let's come back to login VC. Here, while declaring a border color, we'll write UI color, open round bracket, select here red, green, and blue. Red was 68 out of 255. This is a color code. Green was 105 out of 255. And blue one, it was 176 out of 255. Why out of 255? If I put it to the white one, so you see the maximum values are 255. Okay, I come back to login VC. Here we write 176 out of 255. Alpha means a transparency. So let me show you on the example. I'll create just an object and I'll play with it. So this one, it's a red, green, and blue. So red one, let's select 68, 105, 176. So this is a Facebook color. If we play with the alpha, let's say put it 10%, so it will have it will be a transparent. So let me show you here how colors are working. So I overlay the circle with the rectangle and I put alpha, let's say 10%, so it will has a transparency or opacity 10%. So you got it now. This is how it works. Okay, so here alpha will put 1, which means 100%. Okay, so as you remember, we need to convert it to CG color. You can do it yourself by writing CG color, or you can use the help of the Xcode. You can write here as CG color or .cg color. Okay, let's build and run. Here we go. So now our register button is created. Excellent work, excellent execution, guys. Well done. So now we have finished with the appearance of our login page, which we have created it exactly on the with the same view and appearance like it has done by Facebook company. So excellent, very good. So we will now have to declare and configure the behavior of the user interface. Then we will move to the backend. Very good, guys. Excellent job.